Hi everyone, welcome to Public Webinars by Frappe. And I am Babita and I'm the Marketing Executive here at Frappe, and I actively look after public webinars right now. So in case you have any suggestions or questions, or you want a particular webinar coming up in the next month, please drop me a mail. I'm adding my mail in the chat box. You can reach out to me via babita@frappe.io. And yeah, coming to our session today, we have Team Navari with us from Africa. And Navari has been a trusted ERPNext partner, Frappe partner with us, and they provide ERP consultancy, implementation, and customization services on ERPNext with a focus on ERP solutions for mid-size and large enterprises. And we have Muchai, Aggrey, and David from the team Navari joining us and taking this webinar. I'll let Ankita, who is the regional manager Africa, talk more about them and let us know about Team Navari. So, hi Ankita, would you let our audience know about Navari and what we are going to get in the next 1.5 hours? Over to you, Ankita.
Thank you so much, Babita. So, hello everyone. Thank you in for joining this webinar today. So, my name is Ankita. I am the regional manager for Africa and Frappe. I look actively into that region, and with us, as Babita has already mentioned, that Navari's team have joined in. So, we have Muchai Gateru, we have Aggrey, and we have David. They will help us walk through. The M-Pesa integration and payment method that we have already integrated in Frappe Cloud. So now if you are using Frappe Cloud, then you can make payments through M-Pesa as well. So you can make your payments through Kenya shillings, as well as we are also going to be covering the e-invoicings and the tax compliances that are there in Kenya. So how it is now getting integrated with ERPNext. So David will help us walk through that, and Aggrey will help us walk through the M-Pesa integration on Frappe Cloud. So, and a quick introduction about Navari, that they, as Babita has already mentioned, that they have been a long time trusted partner with us. They have been working extensively in the Kenya region and many parts of the African region as well. They have been doing a lot of compliances work also around ERPNext. So over to you, Muchai. Maybe you can introduce your team and then we can get started with the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Babita and Ankita. Good afternoon, everybody who is here. Thank you for attending. So let me do like 1, 2, 3 lines on Navari. We have been doing ERPNext and Frappe customization since 2018. We are at the moment, I think, 15 people. Specifically, this webinar is to cover on Mpesa payments on Frappe Cloud. Basically, this means you can use your Mpesa to pay for hosting on Frappe Cloud. That means you don't need a credit card. It means it's probably very convenient because Mpesa is very, I'll say, ubiquitous around here for payments. Number two, you can pay using local currency. You don't need to worry about exchange rates and so on. The next item that will be covered will be on what we call eTIMS or e-Invoicing, the general term for this. So basically, this is the integration of ERPNext with KRA eTIMS. Here we are talking mostly sales invoices because that's what the Revenue Authority will be keen on. But the integrations covers all the elements that eTIMS is supposed to handle, and we have like 19 elements that eTIMS is supposed to integrate with from almost every other ERP. We have spent some time on M-Pesa integration, and even eTIMS. I think the better part of last year we were trying to integrate this, so it's taken some time, but I think now they are ready and they're in production use as we speak. Thank you. David and Aggrey will introduce themselves. David will take care of eTIMS. He's the guy who developed it. Wafula will take care of M-Pesa on Frappe Cloud, which he was involved in from another gentleman called Mania Joseph, who was the main developer of this. Thank you. Over to you, Aggrey.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Aggrey Wafula from Navari Limited. And I'll be taking you through M-Pesa on Frappe Cloud. Let me just share my screen in a few. Okay. Mhm.
Aggrey, your screen
A
is not
moment.
shared.
Yeah, let me just a moment. Yeah, okay. Okay, confirm you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so over the past few months, Navari, in collaboration with Frappe, have been working on integrating M-Pesa on Frappe Cloud. So basically, we want to allow locals here in Kenya to make payments via M-Pesa to Frappe Cloud. As you all know, everyone in Kenya would agree that M-Pesa is highly adopted. It's among the highest in terms of adoption for the payment as a payment option. M-Pesa is among the highest. So basically what M-Pesa does is just a seamless integration. It helps us, it helps users. For instance, let's assume I'm a customer. So if I'm a customer and I'm based in Kenya, I'll be able to make payments on Frappe Cloud without the need for credit cards or any other third party. Just M-Pesa if I have a valid phone number that is registered to Safaricom and registered for M-Pesa. So let's get into it. So why M-Pesa? So the first reason is for convenience. So M-Pesa works on basic feature phones, not just smartphones. So it doesn't matter if you don't have a smartphone, you can still make payments because what we have done actually is the integration is based on M-Pesa Express, which means you can receive an SDK push on your phone, then you make the payment. Second reason would be affordability. M-Pesa has lower transaction fees compared to traditional banking systems and other remittance services. Banking sometimes can have high transaction costs, so which is not the case compared to M-Pesa. Financial inclusion, so gives and bank population access to financial services. If you don't have a credit card, as I mentioned earlier, you can still make payments to M-Pesa. You can still make payments to Frappe Cloud, through M-Pesa. So we'll go straight to the demo. I'll walk you through the demo. Okay, it's coming up. So first of all, you go to Frappe Cloud. Just start. So you go to Frappe Cloud. If you don't have an account, you can create. If you have, you can log in. So in this case, I already have an account. So I'll just log in directly. So use my password. You can also use the code sent to your email. Then this is what you'll see. Then navigate to settings. So important point to note, if you're registered to Frappe Cloud in Kenya, you'll have M-Pesa as a payment option. So you come here, select the payment partner. In this case, it's Navari. You can also add the amount you want to pay, phone number, and tax ID is mandatory. So you must include the tax ID. Then when you click make payment, you will see, as you can see there at the top right of your screen, you'll get the payment has been initiated, and on my phone I'll get an SDK push of which I can pay. So after making the payment, it will reflect here. Then you can just access the invoice. You can go download the invoice. It will come here on your account actually. So you can download the invoice. It has your details. You can see the both logos for Frappe and Navari. Then the bill too, it's actually me. So that's my email there. The service which I'm paying for is Frappe Cloud. The rate, and also we have the tax included there. So this invoice is actually sent to KRA. As you can see here, we have the details for, we have the KRA details. So if you actually scan this QR code, you'll be able to pull your invoice, and from KRA, you'll see that your invoice has been submitted to KRA. So that's basically it. That's basically how it works. Thank you. That's the end of my presentation. I'll give time for Q&A. So if you have any questions concerning the payments on Frappe Cloud using M-Pesa, this is the time. Thank you.
Yes, Yuvraj, you have raised your hand. Please unmute, or you can drop in your question.
Yeah, can I ask? Okay. Yeah, so thanks for the presentation. My question is, you showed the payment.
Okay.
There, this payment, the one actually you try to make the payment, that is a Stripe and then the M-Pesa. They are payment gateways basically, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so is this M-Pesa is something like a Stripe and other open source payment system?
So M-Pesa is a local payment solution developed by Safaricom. So what they have public APIs that you can integrate to through Daraja. So that's what we did. We integrated that and added that option on Frappe Cloud. So basically, when you get the APIs and integrate to the Daraja platform, you can make payments through M-Pesa. So basically, it's a local payment platform provided by Safaricom.
Okay.
So, Raj, I'll also add in over here. Though Aggrey has already given you the background about M-Pesa, and it's like a mobile wallet that we have kind of. So in India, like how we have Google Pay or Paytm, so M-Pesa is very similar to that. Yes, it's a payment gateway like Stripe. So now, like if anyone, and it's predominantly used in the Kenya market. So many people do, or organizations do transaction through M-Pesa in Kenya shillings. So it's kind of a local payment gateway that they have in Kenya. I hope we answered your question.
Yes, yeah, you answered it. Thank you. And one more is, this is there any charge involved for each transaction?
Yeah, okay, it depends. So, for instance, if we are using the till number for M-Pesa Express, actually, you will not be charged when you make a payment. So the transaction cost is 0. That's why it's quite affordable.
Okay, so that means instead of going for Stripe or any other thing, we can go to this M-Pesa because it's affordable, low cost, right?
There's a catch though. It's only available if your account is registered in Kenya.
Oh, okay. So from India, I cannot do this. From India, the Indian applications cannot make use of this.
Not currently.
Maybe let me put more
yeah,
into this if it's okay.
I'm sorry. So Yuvraj, since in India we have the compliances as part of payment gateways, due to which we need to follow that. That's why we cannot have that. But in Kenya, the compliances are different. So if you're doing an like internal transfer itself, so there is no conveyance fee which is charged.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Stanley has a question, I see. Stanley, would you like to unmute?
Everyone, I hope I'm audible. So, when you're demonstrating your M-Pesa integration via Navari, I saw you mentioned that your statement would be sent to KRA. So, is the M-Pesa integration by Navari also integrated with eTIMS, or is it just standalone M-Pesa, or both M-Pesa and eTIMS integration?
I think let me answer this. See, let's start from here. We are using M-Pesa. This answers the question by Stanley to pay for Frappe hosting. Initially, if you wanted to pay for Frappe hosting and you're based in Kenya, you'd have either to use your credit card, or for us as partners, normally we would have to go deposit money and then we do an EFT transfer, for example. But now what we have enabled is that you can go to Frappe Cloud, initiate an M-Pesa transaction or STK push. You pay. When you pay this amount, because of course, legal-wise, the company that probably can receive this payment based on that it's a Kenyan shilling would be probably be a local company. So Navari receives the payment. Let me say on behalf of Frappe. This payment on our side is what we call an invoice or revenue. So immediately, since we have integrated with eTIMS, this revenue goes straight to KRA in a few seconds. Then KRA sends us back the QR code. I'm answering this question even in together with what Kushal was asking. And then we send you back the invoice to confirm that you have paid, and now your hosting should be activated, assuming you're just activating for the first time. So that's the process. You pay, comes to Navari. Navari sends it as an invoice to KRA. KRA gives us a feedback. Then we send you back the eTIMS invoice.
Okay. I get. Now this was payment for the cloud hosting.
Yes. There's another app for payments using M-Pesa, even B2C. It's a bit comprehensive, but it's not for this. The other one you're asking about is for payments, receiving payments, say in your
B2C.
ERPNext instance, yes, or
Yeah.
B2C.
Yeah.
That one we'll do in a month's time. We are not yet there.
Okay, so that one will not be covered in this session.
No. We'll cover that later.
Okay. Thank you for the
There's
clarification then.
Yes, a few fixes are pending.
Yes. Francis, would you like to go next?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, please let us know.
Yes, I think he kind of answered my question, but it was if the feature or the app would be available for use by other ERPNext users for billing via M-Pesa and also for invoicing KRA.
This, and then Ankita, maybe you can take it up. So if you're hosting on Frappe Cloud, now when you pay, you're paying through Navari. It's the same way you'd pay Frappe. There's an arrangement, or there's like a contract agreement with Frappe, so that it's very clear. As to if another partner can receive this payment, that's a discussion with Frappe. But anyone who is hosting on Frappe Cloud and they are based out of Kenya and they are using M-Pesa, or they wish to use M-Pesa to pay for that service, then they can use this service. Yeah, I'm not sure if this answers it, but Ankita, you can pick up on
I
this.
think
Because
additionally, like if you are already on Frappe Cloud, have a ERPNext instance already, and you want the M-Pesa integration for yourself. So we have that already in the Frappe Cloud marketplace. You can just integrate it through there itself. So the custom application is already available. I think that.
What about the KRA bit?
Yeah, both of them are available.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see any more questions, so we can proceed with the presentation.
I think we will run a poll. So we have just launched a poll. So we just want to know if you are currently using Frappe Cloud. Are you interested in using M-Pesa for payments? So just give us your quick like response so that we also understand that are you interested for the M-Pesa payments. Nice.
There's another question by Kushalas. This is ongoing, and Kita, maybe this you can take up with him later. He's asking if you can do credit card. I think his question is he wants to pay using credit card, but he still wants an eTIMS invoice. I'm not sure if that's necessary. I think you can pay directly to Frappe as usual.
Yeah, in case you are using credit card, then you can directly pay through Frappe Cloud itself. You can do credit card transaction itself. But in case we have the M-Pesa, because if in case you're like want to transfer it through M-Pesa, but other than that, if you're making a credit card transaction, it's always better that you pay directly.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you.
Hi, Kushal.
Hi, guys. So my question is more related to taxes. So when we pay by M-Pesa, you're showing that we can get a receipt from Navari with eTIM signature. With that eTIM signature, it allows me to file the taxes, file it as a tax document in Kenya for my company. However, if I pay by credit card, then I can't do that because it's an invoice from an Indian.
Got it. We did not have this kind of a scenario, but let me check this internally, like in terms in India, if we are doing the invoicing from our end also, like because an invoice will be generated if you're doing a credit card transaction, because it is directly getting income to our account. So we have to initiate an invoice from our end. But Navari is not getting that payment, so they will not be able to generate the invoice from the M-Pesa side. But let me check on it on the compliance part, because I don't want to give you an answer right now until I'm very sure about it.
Mani, I don't know if you had your hand up.
So we'll just run it for 2 to 3 minutes, 5 seconds more, and then we close the poll. So very interesting that around 30% of the people are using Frappe Cloud, and the others are not using Frappe Cloud yet. And we have around 21 out of 30 people interested in using M-Pesa for payments on Frappe Cloud. That is very interesting. All right. Thank you so much. I'll just end the poll. Thank you for your thank you for sharing. Maybe we can go for to the next presentation. David, do you want to share your screen and talk about KRA eTIMS invoicing?
Okay, sure. So good afternoon, everyone. So I am David from Navari. So I'll be taking you through another integration we have done with KRA. It's called eTIMS, and it's on. So that is on in invoicing. Can you confirm you see my screen?
Yes, that's visible.
Okay. So we've also done an integration to KRA Teams for e-invoicing. So a quick intro. So as a regulation in Kenya, KRA requires each and every business that is VAT registered to share their info with them. So through eTIMS. So the eTIMS is like the digital platform where you have to share all your invoicing, etc. As Muchai had mentioned earlier, there are many areas that are covered, but the major one is usually the invoices. So then for that, so you have to, as a registered business in Kenya under VAT, you have to integrate that to comply with it. So we have handled that and integrated with ERPNext. So we have an application called Kenya Compliance via Slate. So you can install it on any ERP instance that you have, and it will help you now to share your information with them. So the general setup is we have you will install it as a normal ERP, a normal app on your site. And then there are some setups that you'll have to undergo, we'll see later. You do some initial setups, and then after the whole setups, do some, you will register some items, share the customer CTC, and then later on, you are under your normal processes. After you create it and submit each invoice, it will automatically sync and send to eTIMS, which will generate a QR code. We'll see later, the one that you will get at the end of it. So that's the overview. So you'll install it, do the setup, and go on with your normal processes on the ERP, and then on the background, it will be sharing the info with the eTIMS. So the way the app works is it is integrated using VSEU via Slate. So Slate 360 is a third party who are authorized for that. So they provide APIs for that through VSEU, and then they share to KRA eTIMS. So the main features under this, as we said, the main one is invoicing. So we do share the sales and purchase invoices, inventory items. So you have to register your items. We'll see. You will have to share your customer informations, all those. And then on the app, you'll also have some dashboards and reports that will help you in reporting. So I'll do a quick demo on the features, the main features on the application. So once you install the application, you'll have access to this workspace. So it has various functionalities under it. The first part that is under some configurations, as I said, after you install, you'll have to do some configurations. We'll see later on another demo. Then you do have to fetch some codes that you get from eTIMS KRA side. And these codes will help you to register the items. Most of the codes are usually linked to item registration because you have to classify that. So we'll see that. So the first process, as I said, you have done a setup. The next thing you're supposed to do is register your items. So the way it is integrated, you will go on, create your item the normal way. And on update, we do this on update. So after you do any update, before saving, it will do some checks. And if everything that is required is passed, it will automatically share with KRA, register the item. So an item will have an eTIMS details page. As you can see, you can prevent. It's not mandatory that you share all the items. So you can select the items you want to send and which to leave. And then here, I did say we do fetch some codes. You have to make sure that your item, you have classified it correctly. So this one you'll get during setup. Yeah. And another important thing is the taxation type. So there are various tax types that KRA provides, and you have to match your item to that. So this one will be used later on to generate, as you can see here, we'll be able to link that item to a tax template on ERPNext. So under ERPNext, on the item tax template, we have linked it to that taxation type. We'll see an example here, this Kenya tax template. As you can see here, we have linked it to the same taxation type that I've selected, B, which is VAT 16%. So after you've done that, you've linked everything, you have registered your item, you'll get back, to confirm you'll have an ID. There's an ID that you usually get, that one, and that's what you'll be using to communicate with eTIMS later on. So that's the first process. You have registered your items. You have also to register your customers. So the same process as items. So every time you make any change before you save on every customer, it will validate several things and register based on that. So, but generally you have to register all the items actually. So the items are not items, customers. You'll have to register all the customers, but what you'll choose is if you want to share the tax ID or not. But generally it will automatically send the customers. So we have also some back actions to doing this. You can do at the beginning, we usually have a setup process for that. You can register even items, customers, etc. in bulk, not a must to do each and every one single. So after you register, you'll get these IDs and we'll use them later on for our invoicing. So we have registered our items, our customers. Now we can do a sample invoice. As I said, it won't interfere with the normal processes mostly. So you'll just come here, create a normal invoice, select the customer, select your fill your items, etc. So we'll have an option that I'll show. So this one, the way we usually do it, we do send the invoice after submitting. So once you are submitting the invoice, it will try to send to eTIMS based on many checks, whether it's enabled or those. And if successful, you'll get it back. But if not, we do use a background job, or you can send manually. So there are many options. So for instance, this is an option I've showed you. You can prevent submitting an item. Not item, an invoice, a single one. You can check that and prevent. But if you have everything is set up, everything is correct, after submitting the invoice, you're supposed to get back. Your invoice will be sent to KRA and you'll get back a QR code and some other eTIMS details, as we'll see here. So just a minute, and here it is. So after your invoice has been sent successfully, you'll have access to your QR code. And you can use this to confirm that your invoice has been successfully shared with the teams, with KRA that is. So this is one of the main functionalities. There are others that I won't cover. We said purchases, and we also do share the stock operations, etc. So there are several under that as well. So so I did mention in the beginning that once you install the application, for it to work, you have to undergo some setups so that you are sure that your application is ready to communicate with the teams. So for that, you have to, there's a process. We have partnered with the other party called Slate 360. So they usually provide most of these details and they'll help you to register with KRA, because now you're supposed to register with them before you start using it, and they'll provide you with some setups that we'll use here. So we have a document called the eTIMS settings. So this is where you'll be handling all the registration process. So most of these details you'll do it one time at the beginning, and most of this information you'll be created this documentation or a guide through the whole process, and it will try to match what KRA is expecting to the normal ERP processes. So here we have several settings that you might adjust later on, mostly for sales and all the operations that you want to submit. So I did say that we have a background job that runs if, for instance, an invoice didn't send for some reasons. So you can come here and adjust, maybe say, I want to retry after 1 hour, 2 hours daily, and retry to send all those invoices that failed. You can also be able to say, I want to retry the invoices for the last 1 day, last 2 days, 3 days, etc. And you can also disable here. For instance, you don't want to send the stock, or you don't want to automatically send the invoices. You can come here, disable the same, and then you'll be able to do that manually each and every time. You'll have many options under that on how you want to submit this information. So that's on those settings. So this one you can adjust over time. These are some defaults that you'll usually use during your application, but the main one here is mode of payment. You can select a default mode of payment. If the invoice didn't have we'll try to fetch that from the invoice, the mode of payment. But if it's not there, we can usually fall back to that. And these are there are some of the indication details that I said you have to get from during the setup process as well. So we'll have, so the actions here, most of them are usually during the setup. So you have to sync some codes. I did show you that we do get some codes. We use integration requests to monitor that. So once you're doing the initial setup, you have to go and synchronize those codes. So you'll get those under the actions, the get codes, and then you have to also do what we call you try to synchronize everything with the setup on eTIMS. So you have to get all the codes. They have many of them, and we'll use this mainly to classify the items. Yeah. So other than we usually use the integration request. So this is what we'll be monitoring. We'll see this on report. This is what will generate most of the reports to see how the progress, that is the successfully etc. We also do another important thing. We have to synchronize our setup to what we're expecting on the other end. That's why you see this that organization synchronization. So yeah, we do map that as well. And then we also have to submit our mode of payments. So all this you'll mainly cover at the beginning. So you won't be doing this frequently. It's just one time and your application is ready to go. Yep. So that is the main thing under the setup. So after your setup is complete, now your application will be ready, and now you can continue sharing your info with eTIMS as needed. So what are the benefits? So the main benefit is that your company already or your organization is compliant with the KRA, and it's real time, so you don't have to worry later on. For those who have used eTIMS, there are various options for that, and this one you have integrated using the VSCO or VSCU. That means okay, it usually doesn't share. You do send your invoices or your info to KRA automatically, but it's usually synchronized later on. Usually sends after some time to eTIMS, so you don't have to worry about all that. If I have sent my invoices etc, you don't have to worry about that. And then you'll have some other the application. This is not now the eTIMS only, but now the application will also come with more advantages. You can be able to see some reports, see how the way we'll have many reports. Let me see. So we'll have several reports and a dashboard as well to show you the progress on everything. So you can see how many invoices I've sent, etc, the integrations, how are they going, all those. So you'll have detailed reports for each and every one. So these are sample of a detailed report. As we said, we use integration requests to do all those, or to submit everything and synchronize everything. So if you need to monitor everything, you can use that report for that. We also have another one for document submission. So you'll be able to monitor how many invoices have I signed, how many are pending, how many have failed, all those. So you can do that for invoices, items, etc. If you want also to know about the time, so I need to know how much time is it taking for an invoice to be signed. How much time do I take to send an item? So we'll have reports for each and everything. Even the requests, if you want a more detailed, you want to see which request is taking much of the time, etc, you'll have access to that. And finally, you can also have another report that illustrates so this one will be usually for errors. If you want to troubleshoot, it will help you to show you the common errors that you are getting. So we also have a report for that. So this will help in troubleshooting. Sometimes you might have issues and you might need to do some adjustments somewhere. So that will help in that. So other than that, we also have a detailed dashboard. So the dashboards will have several cards to show you. So it's based on mostly requests and documents. Invoices, so you'll be able to see, for instance, these are all the invoices that I've sent. These are the pending ones. These are the failed one. For instance, items, you need to see how many are registered, how many are not registered. You'll also see some reports, for instance, on submissions reports. So these are generated from those reports. You need to see how many requests are successful, which ones are failing a lot. Time analysis, you need to see the average times that you're getting from this request. Documents, you need to see how much, just some charts to give you visuals on what is happening behind the scenes. Yes, so the application will have so many benefits. It will come with many reports and a very detailed dashboard to help you in that. Yes, so that's it for it. Thank you. So any questions?
Yes, David, thank you for that wonderful presentation. I don't understand why do you need a Slade as a third party to host the VSU?
Okay, so KRA has to, okay, there's a process for that. You're supposed to apply. KRA does, they have to, there are some approvals. So we have been working on on a solution that is supposed to integrate directly with the teams, but that one is not yet fully approved. So there we found a third party who is already approved. So and it's a bit easier. So yeah, but you have there's that process. KRA allows you, if you want to, you can do the integration yourself. So there are many options under that if you follow up on that. So you can create your own application, go through the whole approval process through KRA, and if they approve your application, then you can be using it. But doesn't change that much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Stanley, would you like to go next?
According to what you guys have presented, Sled acts as a third party providing the APIs for eTIMS and ERPNext. So communication between, you don't communicate directly between ERPNext and KRA. That Sled comes in between, yeah?
Yes.
From what has been shared. So
Yes.
one thing I was asking myself, especially on registering items for eTIMS, can that be done using master data, like when you're creating your master data and then upload, or you have to do all that manually?
Okay, so as I said, so items usually, as I said, during the setup, for instance, if you have an existing master, so there's an option to submit all the items together. You select and say, I want to submit this. Or you will be submitting that. There are many options under that. So that will be your choice. You'll choose when and how to submit it.
Okay, so I can use a sort of master data approach.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me answer this slide element because I think it's come up on most of the charts here. When we started on this, our idea was to be approved as third-party integrators because there are, I think, 3 or 2 options they approve. You can be approved as what they call KRA calls third-party integrator, or you can do what we call self-integrator. If you're doing self-integrator, basically means you go build your own app, install on ERPNext, you go to KRA, they approve you. So every invoice you generate on your instance, you send to them. When you're that party integrator, it means you are allowed to integrate on behalf of other service providers like us. So if you look at the repos, initially we started by aiming to be that party integrators, but that process took long, almost 8 months, I think. That's why this took a long time. So we realized for us, it's better we focus on integrating directly with an approved third party. And that's how we ended up building another hub to integrate via Slade. Yeah, I hope these answers. But now Slade, of course, comes with a cost because they have invested heavily on their middleware. The contacts are on that app. You can check them and contact them.
Muchai, if I might just ask you a question.
Yes.
Yes, I've done this VSU integration with other third parties, but they don't necessarily have to require you to use their platform. They just connect you direct. Once you get that virtual KRA number, you're done. You can just connect direct. I don't see why Slade have you go through the APIs.
I frankly don't know how the others work. Even if it came to that, maybe this is something I've talked to Kushal about. It came to a point where we realized we are better focusing on building the apps and other service than be the ones responsible for integrating people with carry, because there are so many legal hurdles around that, because you don't know what people do with the app, right? So even along the way, we realized it's best for us. We are not responsible for that. So it still works for us. So as we provide the app to make sure ERPNext is compliant.
If that works for you, that is okay. But why they really have you like use their platform? Because the way I understand it, these guys will on behalf of because you understand there are those third parties that are authorized to get you these virtual numbers. So once you get that serial number, they give you the direct URL. You plug it into your app and you are good to go. So why Slade did this to you, I really don't know the arrangement. But
Not
anyway, if
really
it works for you,
Slade. We chose Slade. Slade didn't choose us. There's another app which someone can pick and go directly to carry on through those other third parties. And frankly, let me say, it's not very easy to deal with carry. If they make a change on their software, you probably want to go through that party unless you want to maneuver those processes with them.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Wilson, do you have any questions too?
Okay. Hello. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Mine was it was more of the POS side. So we wanted to understand, will it be also the same route whereby we are required also to like document all our items through that? There was a process I saw. Who is it called? I don't know. On the presentation, I saw there is a process whereby we are supposed to register our items. Will also do we have to do that? And also, is there another presentation on how the POS side will like how will it appear? Also, I will really want to see that. Okay.
You can take that up, David, or I can, whichever.
Yes, I can answer. So on the items, you have to register. So it's a requirement by KRA. You have to submit all your items and classify them. So that one is required. So as I was addressing before, you can there are many options around it. You can update all the items. For instance, it's an existing already site. Just go update all the items and submit them, all of them automatically. But you have to do that. You have to go through that process before you share an invoice. So every invoice you submit, the items that you have already selected there, for it to work, they have to be registered. So that's a requirement. So on the other question, we usually share the sales invoices. So that's what we get. That's what we do share. We don't. Currently, we're not sending POS invoices. So the moment the sales invoice is generated, to be submitted to eTIMS, and that's what we'll share. Yeah.
So basically, like for us, we do have a shop whereby we have been using that party to sign our, what do you call them, the POS invoices. So as for now, it seems we do not have that option. Yeah, you just have the sales invoice option.
Which POS are you using?
Okay, we have still been using the POS awesome, but as I'm aware that you have updated the standard POS.
Yes, let me answer then this. If you're using POS awesome generates a sales invoice. So that one will still go to carry. because we are sending an invoice the minute it's submitted, regardless whether it came via post or whether it's generated in the background.
Okay.
What we are not sending is if you're using the standard post where you generate a post invoice. But even that post invoice, in the evening when you merge, which creates a sales invoice, then that invoice will be sent. Because for us, an invoice is an invoice, whether it came from post or not. A sales invoice is a sales invoice. And
Okay.
come version 16, the post in ERPNext will be you'll have an option to choose to generate a sales invoice directly. So still that will always go because we just check, submit, it goes.
Yeah, okay. The other challenge would have been that you making a general sales invoice at the end of the day, and probably the customer wants the invoice signed for purposes of either claiming a VAT or something. I don't know, but yeah, that might have posed a challenge.
So when you merge the post invoices in the evening, then that invoice will be sent to eTIMS like any other invoice. Yeah.
Yeah, but if a client wants their own invoice signed at that point of, or that particular time.
I get it. We're not doing that. It was a bit challenging because there's somewhere eTIMS used to ask for a serial number, so a sequence. So we never got there, right? So we didn't know which sequence number do we use for post invoice, sales invoice. So we just limited ourselves to sales invoice for now.
Okay, so basically, sorry, I have so much to ask.
No,
Okay, so basically, right now, what you can suggest or what can work is we remain with the POS POS or some, so that we are able to do the sales invoice or the POS sales invoice at that particular time and signed and sent to KRA. Yeah, that's what you mean.
yes, you do that, but even that, I think it's for a few months because probably most people are worried about POS because it's no longer POS. But in a few months, Frappe is releasing sales invoices as a standard functionality on POS. So just keep checking. But I know the feature is already built. And maybe David, we can check if we can handle POS invoice. I'm not sure what that means, but we'll see.
Okay. So.
All right, Wilson. Hoping it was helpful. So we are moving towards the end of this webinar. So I would request any questions or any kind of suggestions, if anyone has, do drop it or raise your hand or maybe drop in the chat so that Navari team can pick it up one by one. Kushal, do you have any questions? Okay. Fair. I think we did not see a lot of questions coming in since those were addressed in between the webinar itself. So, like, thanks, David, Aggrey, and Muchai, taking this a very detailed walkthrough of this very interesting project, M-Pesa, that you've been working on. And I hope people would have benefited from the webinar and would, like to try M-Pesa hosting it on Frappe Cloud. I would like to request everyone to spare like 2 minutes to fill out this feedback form. It will help.
Before that, Pavitra, can you just share another poll? So just wanted to check with everyone that from which industry they belong to. Are they still evaluating ERPNext? From which part of Africa they belong to, or are they from Africa also? And do they want us to reach out to them? And do they want to integrate also KRA? So,
Yes. There's a
and
small
if
poll.
you have any troubles in paying through Frappe Cloud, do let us know.
Correct. So please take out like 1 minute and do answer the polls that are there in your screen.
We'll run it for more 5 to 6 minutes. 6 seconds. All right. So we have ended the poll. So we have already seen that almost 26% of the people did have problems paying on Frappe Cloud. So I think the M-Pesa will resolve the issue that you have currently. And nice that around 89% are looking out to integrate KRA eTIMS with ERPNext. So that's good news for Navari as well. Great. So the people who want us to reach out to them, we are going to share the contact us also form with you on the chat box. You can reach out to us from there. Nice. Thank you so much. And also right now, Babita will also take it forward and share the feedback form. So you can reach out through that also. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, Babita.
Yeah. So I did see Laban has raised his hand. Okay, I think he got disconnected. No worries. This is the public webinar feedback form. We would like you to spare like 2 minutes and fill in this form so that we know what you expect better, or are we standing up to your expectations, and what all can we do next in our upcoming webinars. The recording for this webinar will be available in the same link you used to join this webinar. So yeah, thanks Muchai, thanks Aggrey and David. Ankita, would you like to share a vote of thanks for them? Okay, I think Ankita got disconnected.
No, I'm here. Sorry. So there was some connection issues.
Okay.
Thank you, Muchai, David, and Aggrey for this presentation. I think it is going to resolve a lot of issues of people who are planning to pay through to Frappe Cloud. I think M-Pesa resolves a lot of issue, and I think many people are looking out for the eTIMS integrations. So thank you so much for this presentation and the webinar as well. Thank you so much, and thank you, Babita, for organizing this event.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we hope you all to get some kind of benefit out of this webinar, and see you in the next webinar. Yeah, thank you so much.